Hey guys, it's Jonathan here with Impulse Automotive and welcome back to another episode of Wild Wednesdays. Today we're going to be kicking it back to the 60s and talking about this awesome 1962 Chrysler Imperial Crown. This is a two-door Southampton hardtop. So let's not waste any time, let's get through to some cinematics and appreciate this beautiful 1962 Chrysler Imperial Crown. I know it turns a lot of heads and the build quality on it is absolutely phenomenal. So for those of you who don't know, back in the 50s and 60s, America was being dominated in the car market. So there were some wild cars coming out of Detroit. You had your Fords and your General Motors Cadillacs. There was a lot of competition going on, but the quiet achiever was actually Chrysler, who were very well known for creating the luxury car brand that is the Imperial. So the car before you that you see is a very rare example. All up, there are only 1,000 of these produced in 1962. There are less than 20 known survivor cars worldwide, and this particular example was originally a Californian car. So for those of you who don't know, in California there's not much snow, so in that case there is no rust, whereas a lot of states in America salt their roads during winter, therefore creating a lot of rust underneath these old beauties. And from what we're aware, this is one of the only ones left in existence as a hardtop Southampton. So it's pretty cool, pretty rare, and pretty exciting to have this with us here at Impulse Automotive. So for those of you who don't know, it's got a V8 in, of course. What American muscle car doesn't? It's got a 413 cubic inch V8 with a 3-speed TorqueFlite automatic transmission. So this is a push button automatic. So to change it from reverse to neutral to drive, it's all push button. So that was pretty advanced for the time. So I could sit here and talk to you all day about this car, but what we're going to do is now, and one thing I'm very passionate about is appreciating the car for what it is. So the next segment of this video will be filmed from inside the car because I really want you guys to appreciate this interior a little bit more. Here we are in the interior of the 1962 Chrysler Imperial, and I am by no means a little guy, and I could literally fit another 2-3 people in this front seat. The sheer size of this car is just astounding. And as I wanted to touch on a little bit more was the build quality of these cars back in the day was just something else. Like, I can look at this car now and almost not pick anything on the build quality. The door gaps, the gaps in the dash, the chrome work is just impeccable. So for a 62 model car, it's pretty cool. Now, as I was discussing with you before, the push button automatic, it's all here on the left hand side. So conventionally in Australia, we'll be sitting over here to drive this car, so this is actually a left-hand drive vehicle. So we've got our push button here, so obviously the car is not running, so I'm just going to toggle it through so you can have a look, but that's just pushing it in reverse, neutral, drive, second gear, and then first gear. Put that back in neutral for now. It is just astounding that they've got this kind of technology back in the 60s. It also has electric windows, I should say. It's got lap sash seat belts in it. It's got radio, fresh air ducts, so you can obviously get your fresh air in the car. Floor carpet covering, so it's got this luscious loop pile carpet, which is absolutely phenomenal. It's got the salmon interior and the nice red dash with the very large steering wheel. As you can hear the horn, everything is operational on this car. And guys, when we say this is like one of the cleanest examples for a 60s model car we've seen, we've got to say it truly is. We've seen a lot of cars through the 60s and 70s roll through here. We've seen them at car shows, but this is something else. It's one that you, if you are interested in purchasing something like this is one definitely to consider. So we just got to take a moment quickly to appreciate the back end of the car and how long it is. So if you ever struggle for boot space, never going to struggle for it again with this car. The boot is just massive, but everything on this car is huge. Even the brake lights are huge. It's big and it just screams America. It's so cool. We love it. But a lot of the American cars through the 50s, 60s and 70s had that very distinct fin on the back end of the car. So obviously it's very common, very pronounced here. It's not as announced as like your Chevy Bel-Airs, which had that nice big fin, or your early Chryslers. But it's very subtle, yet very nice looking. And the one thing that we do like about these cars is that the petrol tank is, and the petrol filler I should say, is very well hidden. So it's just hidden behind the Imperial sign. And it is just neatly hidden. It's very well put away. But all in all, this car and its detailing is just out of this world. And being one of the first ones I've ever seen, I'm very impressed and very taken back by how beautiful it is. Even down to the curved glass on this car. It almost looks like a beehive sort of shape to it. It looks phenomenal. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the camera back up at the front of the vehicle and we're just going to finish up on the video. So when purchasing this car, you're not only getting the car, but you're also getting the absolutely beautiful history behind this car, being built in the 60s. So could you imagine that this car up until 2007 was cruising around in the streets of California? So it's special to know that someone else across the globe has been able to appreciate this car and love it and cherish it and look after it and just enjoy what is the 1962 Chrysler Imperial Crown. So as always, with all the cars that we do videos on, this particular one is up for sale. We've got it for $98,900, and it proves it as exceptional value, being that it is probably one of the rarest cars we've got in the showroom at the minute, bar the Celine Mustang that we've got. But it is a very, very nice example of a Chrysler. We love it, we think it's beautiful, and whoever purchases this is going to have some very, very happy miles in this particular car. So guys, once again, thank you very much for another episode of Wild Wednesdays and tuning in with us. And don't forget, you can like, subscribe and share to our Facebook and our Instagram and YouTube channel. And we look forward to seeing you next week. We'll see you then. Thank you.